Welcome to Hood Champion Boxing and Sports. In boxing, you find a way to win or you find a way to lose. Let me go ahead and fix this real quick. Hey, so this went, well, first of all, Tank Davis did a great job this weekend. You know, we gotta be real with what we're watching. Tank Davis, Ryan Garcia, you know, whether you like Tank or you like Ryan or you dislike him, to me, it's kind of hard to come out here now and say something negative about both of the fighters. But there's a whole lot we can say about Ryan Garcia's team, Oscar De La Hoya and Bernard Hopkins. How they did Ryan Garcia to me, they did him dirty. They just kind of left him there in the breeze, which isn't cool at all. But at the end of the day, I guess it kind of is what it is at this point. But that being said, when it comes to a guy like Tank Davis, look, did he protect his claim as the face of boxing? Like, that's really the question. Did Tank Davis protect his claim as the face of boxing? Now, we know it was Gervonta Davis against Ryan Garcia, but really, a lot of the commentary, a lot of the talk was really about Tank Davis and what Tank Davis was going to do next. Many people had signed Ryan Garcia off, and it's kind of hard, you know, to blame them for saying that Ryan Garcia didn't stand a chance. You saw after pretty much the first half of that second round, the momentum totally went left, which is the direction that we expected it to go with Tank Davis and Ryan Garcia. Both of the fighters had knockout power, but only one showed it. And the one who showed the knockout power was Tank Davis. And no matter what you think, it was a super fight, but it turned out to be, although a super fight, it was super one-sided. And Ryan Garcia wanted out because he knew he was going to get knocked out. You could see the momentum was shifting that way. Tank Davis was getting closer and closer and closer with that big left hand. Ryan Garcia on a couple occasions threw the right hand, but he didn't throw it with conviction because Ryan Garcia is naturally left-handed. That's why he doesn't get any steam on his right hand. Now, if he had a little bit of pop in that right hand, Ryan Garcia could have made, that right hand could have made a difference. But Ryan Garcia doesn't have pop in that right hand. It's just like Caleb Plant. I'm not saying that to bad talk him or Caleb Plant. They're both naturally left-handed. You guys, hopefully, the people out here who watch boxing realize that. Why do you think Ryan Garcia is able to knock people out the way he does with that left hand? Why do you think Caleb Plant was able to pull off that vicious knockout against Darrell? Because they're naturally left-handed fighters. But what happens when they have the left hand nullified? They're sitting ducks. And that's the problem with Ryan Garcia. He didn't have a plan B. His whole thing was to try to come and approach Tank with that amateurish shoe shining crap and just throw the left hook, and pray that it landed. He didn't have any plan for a right hand. His footwork was horrible. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what Joe Goosen, if Joe Goosen would have invested in him, which Joe Goosen did not, it doesn't matter. Ryan Garcia is just levels to it, and he's not a complete fighter. Tank was going to get to him anyway. But the stars were outside in the T-Mobile Arena on Saturday. You know, it's been a while since I've watched boxing where you see, you know, I see Hollywood versus Hollywood, but it's been a while since I've seen, you know, people from the damn, you know, like a Mark Wahlberg and a Michael B. Jordan and Denzel Washington. I remember back in the day watching boxing on HBO Boxing After Dark. You see Jack Nicholson, you know, you see Michael Jordan. You see Burt Reynolds in the crowd. You see all kind of actors. You know, we always saw Rosie Perez, but they Shaquille O'Neal. I remember just sitting there watching, and it was like, it really was like an event. But Showtime dropped the ball on this one, didn't they? They sit there, put on this huge event, which is supposed to be the fight of the decade, supposed to be the fight of the generation. They got it in T-Mobile Arena. It's packed, and they wouldn't even span the crowd to show us everyone who was in attendance, from Hollywood to Hollywood and in between with the music industry and athletes, etc. So to me, they dropped the ball because there were a lot of famous people there. And only reason I know that is because now you go and look at different pictures, you look at the videos being uploaded by these different content creators with the huge channels like Fight Hype and stuff like that. And it's like, damn, I didn't know Michael B. Jordan was there. Hell, I didn't know Nelly and Ashanti were there and they were holding hands. You know, I didn't know Andy Ruiz was there because you just didn't see many images of that during the fight. But at the end of the day, on that same night, Saturday, the Lakers faced the Grizzlies in LA. And, you know, to just have such a huge marquee event in Las Vegas is huge. You're talking about there were over 20,000 fans there. Over 20,000 fans showed up, man, for Davis and Garcia. And those guys are really, no kidding, battling for the spotlight. You're talking about 7 rounds. 7 rounds of these guys trying to find a way to win. But you could see that Ryan Garcia was becoming more and more discouraged because he just couldn't figure out Tank Davis, and everything that he was trying, it failed. And he didn't have any more tools in the toolbox, and he knew it was a matter of time. And when he got hit with that body shot, that was his way out. And for those of you who are saying, man, you're blaming Ryan Garcia, you're saying he's a quitter, he didn't quit. Look, don't blame me. That's what he said. I'm not saying that. He said it. He said he got hit. He knew he was hurt, and if he got up, he knew he can get hurt really badly. And as a result, he didn't want to continue. Those aren't my words. Those are his words. So he quit, okay? But was he going to get knocked out? Yes. But at the end of the day, the action picked up very early in the fight. It was that second round, and I'm going to tell you, before Garcia got hit with that hard shot, he threw a wild left hook because he's an anxious fighter, and he's used to getting away with being reckless. He doesn't have great balance, right? And as a result, he got left hand crazy, and Tank made him pay. But up until that point, Ryan Garcia was having a lot of success because he was on the front foot. He was applying pressure to Tank, because we know Tank starts off slow. You got to jump on him. In addition to that, Ryan Garcia spoke to Mario Barrios in the Mario Barrios camp and said, hey, what were some of the things that worked for you? What were some of the things that didn't work? So basically, they had a retrospective or a hot wash or a lessons learned meeting about Tank Davis in that fight, and Ryan tried to implement it. And it worked for 4.5 minutes, because the first round it worked, and probably about half of that second round it worked, and then it wasn't working anymore. So I'm gonna tell you right now, when it comes to that left hand of Ryan Garcia, if he would have shot for the shoulder, he would have landed on Tank, because Tank was dipping low, getting under all of his shots. But Ryan Garcia was going for his head. Tank's already the damn smaller target. You're trying to throw this left hook to the head of a smaller target that's getting under all your shots. Now, Joe Goulston said Ryan Garcia is the most intelligent fighter that I've had. Joe Goulston said Ryan Garcia is the most athletic fighter I've had. Joe Goulston said Ryan Garcia is the most gifted fighter I've had. He gets in the ring, he sees things that I don't see, even though I have 4 decades of boxing and being a boxing trainer. So with Ryan Garcia, I don't have to train him on anything. Joe Goulston said, all I got to do, what's up, Victor? He said, I heard the scorecards were going around him. Yeah, they were. Joe Goulston said, with Ryan Garcia, I don't have to tell him anything. All I got to do with Ryan Garcia is just remind him of a few things. Well, I'll tell you what I saw with Ryan Garcia's performance, Joe Goulston, you should have trained him on some things. You definitely should have broken down to the basics, because Ryan Garcia got in there, and he needed a coach. He needed a trainer. He needed someone to advise him, because he didn't know what he was going to do. This man, Ryan Garcia, he threw the same combination at Tank in that second round 3 times. Did he not learn from Leo Santa Cruz? Come on, people. To that, I got to say, Ryan Garcia, Joe Goulston need to hold their horses and stop taking it to the stupid. Leo Santa Cruz tried that same thing. He threw the same punch, 1-2, 1-2, 1-2, 3 times. On the third time, Tank dipped to the left and shot an uppercut and tranquilized Santa Cruz. Now you come at Ryan Garcia, it was like a left hook, right uppercut. I think that's what he threw, a lead left hook, then tried to come back with the right uppercut. Then he did it again, threw that damn left hook, and tried to throw the right hand, but as soon as he threw that left hook and he missed, Tank tranquilized him. And that's when the whole fight changed. Victor said, Hood, I'll be honest, Rolly looked better than Ryan. I say Pitbull Cruz will beat Ryan. Yeah, I think Pitbull Cruz tranquilizes Ryan Garcia. And Rolly did look better. because Rolly started off patient. Rolly Romero started off respecting the power of Tank and picking his shots, and he was actually countering Tank. Tank came off a little bit, he was more aggressive against Rolly and early in the fight, but when Tank felt the power of Rolly Romero, and these are Tank's words, not mine. He said Rolly Romero is the hardest hitting fighter that he faced. And Tank said he knew if he stayed in the pocket with Rolly Romero, he said he knew he could get hurt. Now, when you talk about Ryan Garcia, if Ryan Garcia could have been a bit more intelligent with his approach, Ryan Garcia could have probably won that fight. You see, what he was doing in the first round was working. But what happened is he started falling in, dropping his hands, getting careless. He should have just stayed behind the jab. When Tank was clinching, keep doing what he's doing, man. Throw those hard shots. Hit him with forearms. Hit him with elbows. Push your elbow in his neck. Make the referee do his job. Because on some of those clinches, Ryan Garcia was throwing some dirty shots, and the referee let it go. So to me, the stars lined up for Ryan Garcia. He just dropped the ball, and as a lack of experience, he got reckless. And anybody who knows anything about boxing, you don't follow a puncher around the ring, especially a puncher like Tank who has speed and is explosive. And the thing about Tank, he's like Mike. He really does have a Mike Tyson feel to him. And what I mean by that is Tank is much shorter than the majority of the opponents he's faced. Mike Tyson was much shorter than the majority of opponents he faced. Watch when Tank really tries to get off on some of those shots where he's reaching up to his opponent. He almost leaps. It starts from his legs. You know what I'm saying? Mike Tyson was the same way. So by the time he releases Tank, it was the left hand, or Mike Tyson was the right hand. It's almost like a shot, like getting hit with a shotgun, And there's nothing a fighter can do to stop that. Extreme power coming off of the left hand and the right hand of Mike Tyson. And it starts from their base. And with their base, I'm talking about their legs, man. Victor says Ryan's skills look Ryan's skills look a mature amateur in this fight. He wasn't ready. Yeah, he wasn't ready for Tank, man. He definitely is amateurish. He has a lot to work on, man. But at the end of the day, Tank Davis, he clipped Garcia with a hard left hand, man. Put him on the canvas. Garcia continued to apply pressure. I think it was the third round. He made some adjustments, moving away from the hook, trying to throw more straight right hands. But again, his right hand doesn't have any power on it. But when it comes to Tank, he never really seemed bothered in that fight. And that's a great quality to have when you're a professional boxer at the elite level. You know who else had that quality of never seeming bothered in a fight, never really showing any indication that they're hurt? Was Miguel Cotto. You watch Miguel Cotto when he fought. You can, no matter how hard he gets hit, no matter if he gets hurt, Miguel Cotto always had a stone face. Federico Dalier, how you doing, sir? Glad to see you on the channel, teammate. He says, you don't chase a puncher around the ring, especially if you're about to let the southpaw puncher land his lead foot outside constantly. To make it worse, Ryan had the reach advantage. I agree with you 100%. During the live, we were we were sitting there, man, screaming at the damn TV that Ryan Garcia from round one was losing the foot fight. That's basic 101 stuff. You know what I mean? And what really blew my mind is you got Joe Goosen over there. He got on the denim outfit. He got the Vidal Sassoon in his hair. And Joe Goosen's so worried about looking good that this man, you're not worried about making your fighter look good. You telling me that at no point Joe Goosen or Ryan Garcia's dad, or not even his brother, was shouting from the stands? Ryan Garcia, get your right foot on the outside of Tank's left foot. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't saying anything. Ryan was just right there in the line of fire, and that's why Tank was getting closer and closer with that left hand, and Ryan was feeling that pressure. Victor says Oscar and Hopkins are wrong, abandoning their fighter after a loss. They didn't even go to the press conference after the fight. Now, they did him wrong, man. I'm going to tell y'all right now, I'm going to get back to talking about this fight, but let me tell you something. When you have I'm retired military, right? But when you have a fighter, their wins are their wins. Their losses should be your losses. It's the same thing when I had a bunch of subordinates, man. When they do good, let them take the credit for that. When they do bad, I gotta own that. You know what I'm saying? It's my responsibility. Oscar De La Hoya and Bernard Hopkins, total fail. That's a total fail, man. You got Ryan Garcia. You could tell Ryan Garcia he's not built for tough. You know what I'm saying? He walking around the ring talking about Jesus. He looks like he wants to cry. He got his mom and his dad there. And what's going on, Demo Gaming? He says, I'm just thinking of all the things I saw Tank doing in that fight. Man, Tank's boxing skills are on another level. He has legendary skills like the greats. He does. But like I agree with you, Demo Gaming. But like we were saying about Ryan Garcia, he's not built like Tank. Ryan Garcia got his mom there, his dad there. You could tell that he's a bit more sensitive and I'm not saying it's wrong, but what I'm saying is when you have a individual with those characteristics, you know, you got to be very mindful of how you're going to treat him. And for them to have him just there in the breeze at the post-fight press conference, that's a total fail on Bernard Hopkins and Oscar De La Hoya. And you know what's even worse is the fact that they both did interviews, right? Bernard Hopkins came out and said, and let me tell you something. First of all, when they put a microphone in front of Bernard Hopkins, I kind of feel like I'm watching in Living Color, where Damon Wayans played that character in the prison that would just ramble on and talk a bunch of nonsense. But Bernard Hopkins, he said the reason they didn't show up is because they didn't want any drama. Bernard Hopkins said they didn't want any drama. They really wanted it to be all about Ryan Garcia because it was Ryan Garcia's night. And my thing is, what drama is Bernard Hopkins talking about? You know what I mean? What did he and Oscar anticipate was going to happen if they went to the post-fight press conference? That's all I'm getting at. What did they expect for Tank Davis and his team to do? They got the win. And we know at the end of fights, especially during the post-fight press conference, Tank Davis is a very cordial, friendly, professional young man. Tank Davis at the end of fights and at post-fight press conferences, him and his team aren't aggressive. Him and his team aren't being disrespectful. You know what I'm saying? But I personally think Oscar De La Hoya, his mind got the best of him because Leonard Ellaby, after Oscar De La Hoya took those shots at him at that final press conference, right? Before the fight, Leonard Ellaby went off on Oscar De La Hoya. And I think Oscar De La Hoya didn't want to end up in a situation where he got embarrassed again. Because the thing that I understand is Leonard Ellaby, he's out there in Las Vegas. Oscar De La Hoya lives in Las Vegas. And Leonard Ellaby knows a whole lot about Oscar De La Hoya's personal life. He just doesn't go there because he says it's too messy for him to, this is Leonard Ellaby saying it's too messy for him to come out here and start talking about Oscar De La Hoya's personal business. But he said if Oscar De La Hoya would have pressed him and made it nasty, then he would have talked about that. He said, but he doesn't feel it's necessary for him to take it to that level and talk about Oscar De La Hoya's personal business. But what I will tell you is Oscar De La Hoya was wrong and Bernard Hopkins were wrong to leave Ryan Garcia in the breeze. And I personally think Ryan Garcia him and his dad need to sit back and think about what his next move is going to be. Because he needs to get away from those guys, in my opinion. If they'll treat him like that as a result of taking that loss, the next time Ryan Garcia steps up, he's going to end up in the same situation if he loses. Because for Oscar De La Hoya, people got to understand this. It was about a year ago, maybe a little over a year ago. Remember, Oscar De La Hoya was talking about selling Golden Boy Promotions, and he was saying he was going to sell it for $1 billion. And he's looking for an exit strategy, people. I'm not making this up. Why else would this man be talking about selling Golden Boy Promotions? When he lost Canelo, they took a huge hit. Golden Boy Promotions took a huge hit. And before Canelo, he lost all his fighters over there to Al Heyman anyway. So Oscar De La Hoya has barely been existing. He's just been surviving. He can't afford to have Ryan Garcia start taking losses, start to affect his, the live gates, etc. with Ryan Garcia. These are facts. Without Ryan Garcia, what does he have? Munguia. We talked about this yesterday. Zurdo Ramirez, Virgil Ortiz, who can't seem to get healthy for whatever reason. Blair, he don't even want Blair Cobb on. I mean, outside of Ryan Garcia, who does Oscar De La Hoya have to carry the torch and keep moving Golden Boy Promotions forward? He doesn't have anybody. But at the end of the day, Ryan Garcia got clipped with a counter by Tank Davis, and Tank Davis smiled, and he talked to him, and he was having fun. Tank Davis even said at the end of the fight, he was like, look, it was fun while it lasted. And then in the seventh, it was just one of those things, man. Him and Ryan Garcia were having that exchange, and it was a very entertaining exchange. Then Davis landed that short left to the liver. And that just shows you Tank Davis' experience. He's imagine the anxiousness he must have been experiencing, where he's on the inside. You got Ryan Garcia throwing bombs at him. Ryan Garcia's throwing bombs at him. And Tank Davis still had the wits. He had enough wits about him to realize, because this is something I'm going to tell you. Like a lot of you here, I used to box too. And somebody was saying, well, Tank Davis, he just threw a lucky punch like Danny Garcia. Tank Davis threw a blind left hook like Danny Garcia. And I'm like, man, hold your horses. Let's not take it to the stupid. Somebody had a big bowl of dumbass for breakfast. If they're going to come out and say, Tank Davis throws blind left hooks, Tank Davis throws blind straight left hands, because Tank Davis isn't looking at his opponent when he throws his shots. That is what you call haterism. That's what you call taking it to the stupid. So Tank Davis just blindly throws lefts. I'm going to tell you what happened. And what happens when you watch Tank Davis facing off with a fighter, you don't have to look in their face to know where they're positioned. You can look at the ground and see where their feet are. If I can see your feet, I know where your body is. You understand? You don't need to be looking directly in somebody's eyes to know where to throw your shot. And he threw it at his body. So he's down, he sees his feet, he knows where his body is. Tank Davis is aware of his position. He has awareness. Not a lot of fighters have that. I learned that early, man. That was like in the first 2 months of boxing. When I first started, that's one of the first things I learned. I had somebody against the ropes, and I remember the coach, because I was more or less looking up, and then we trained on that. He stopped us during sparring, and he was like, why do you keep looking up? And he was like, stand in front of me. He showed me, he's like, if you see where his feet are. He was like, and you got your head in his chest, you know where his body is. Well, he said, well, you can gauge where the head's at. He was like, don't overthink, just throw the shot. And that's what Tank did last night. He didn't overthink. Tank just threw the shot. Saturday. He threw the shot. Federico says Tank hit him with the same slip to the left, hook and that's right. And there's levels to the game, man. Same thing. Tank's been dipping to his right, getting away from Ryan's left hand. He'll tie him up, clinch him a little bit. And people were even talking about the clinching. Clinching's part of boxing. You understand? Clinching is part of boxing. Tank wasn't in there, man, acting like Devin Haney. So let's not take it to the stupid. He did what he had to do to get his win. And I'm going to tell you, during that exchange, what we were just talking about, when Garcia grimaced, you see, Tank recognized that. He stepped back, and you could see the expression on Tank Davis' face. Tank Davis had that aha moment. He's like, oh, aha, I heard him. And that's when he went at him. And then Ryan Garcia, he tried to disguise it, but he couldn't. And he took that knee. And you could just see in his face he was hurt. He was hurt bad. Demo Gaming says that wasn't luck. He set that up. If you look at the sequence before that, Ryan had just did the same thing. Yeah, he threw that same combination 3 times. Tank knew Ryan would try to throw the right hand again. He knew the shot would be open. Tank has great anticipation. But I'm telling you this right now. Even Tank Davis thought Ryan Garcia was gonna recover from that body shot. You know what I'm saying? Even the referee, I now know his name. His name is Tom Taylor. Tom Taylor was sitting there looking like he thought Ryan Garcia was gonna get up. But Ryan Garcia, he looked like he was gonna attempt it, and he just didn't do it. He never made it to 10, but he made it to 11, didn't he? You tell me Ryan Garcia the referee can get to count 10, and on count 11, Ryan Garcia, he just pops up. It's because he didn't want to continue, man. And even Tank said, he said, look, I thought he was going to get up. But, I like to play mind games. So when he was looking at me, I was looking at him trying to tell him get up. And he said Ryan Garcia told him no. Ryan Garcia told Tank, no, I'm not getting up. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, Ryan Garcia did say, look, I don't have any excuses. I just couldn't get up. But I tell you what, he's looking to get up to 140 pounds. How is he going to fare at 140? Like, that's the real question. How is Ryan Garcia going to fare at 140? And we're going to talk about that. But for Davis, he's 28 now. I think some people are forgetting Tank Davis is 28 years old. So some people are saying this is a crowning moment for Tank. He's the new face of boxing. Now, I think we're getting ahead of ourselves saying Tank is the new face of boxing. As long as Canelo's floating around here, we can't come now and make Tank Davis the face of boxing. We can't make anybody the face of boxing. Is he on the way? Tank Davis is on the way. But look, for years, we understand what Canelo has done. We understand what Tank has done, growing his profile, becoming one of the biggest attractions in boxing. You know what I'm saying? If I remember, and you guys can correct me, because look, I don't remember everything, but I think he drew huge crowds and broke records, I think in New York, I think in Atlanta, I think in Los Angeles, right? And then he went to DC recently and drew some huge crowds. But it's the highlight reel knockouts against Romero and Santa Cruz that really helped him to start to become a pay-per-view attraction. But I think for Tank Davis, and what's going on, Alexis Luna says the body shuts down after getting hit like that on the liver. Oh, I agree with you 100%, man. I agree with you 100%. I've been hit. I haven't been hit with a liver shot like that, but I've been hit and had the wind knocked out of me. But I've had that delayed reaction. Like what Ryan Garcia had, that delayed reaction, I've had that delayed reaction. Y'all make sure y'all hit the like button too. I'd appreciate it. I've had that delayed reaction. But when that happens, there's nothing you can do. It's horrible, man. It's one thing to try to explain that to somebody who's never been hit with a hard body shot or hitting the liver. If you've never been hit with that, you wouldn't understand. But I understand because I've been hit like that. But one thing I don't understand, and this is directed to you, Alexis, man. I don't understand. You get hit with a hard shot like that, and the referee gets to 10, and you get up at 11. And then when the fighter comes out and says, I thought about getting up, I could have got up, I just chose not to get up because I felt if I would have continued, that I would have got hurt even worse. That's the problem that I think most people are having with Ryan Garcia. It's good that he didn't make any excuse about the loss. He got hit with a hard shot. But the fact that he's saying he went Victor Ortiz, I don't want to get beat up like this. I'm not sure if this is something I want to do if I'm going to get beat up like this. And to me, that's bad medicine. Demo Gaming says, I'm ready to see the numbers from the pay-per-view. I'm guessing they did at least 400K or more. I tell you what, when it comes to Tank Davis, right? He's knocking people out. He's creating he's creating records for live gates wherever he goes to fight. So those are two things that Davis needs to become the face of boxing. Now the pay-per-views, I said I think it does like 500,000. You know what I mean? Maybe it does more. But I said like 500,000. But if Tank can consistently do, I would say 400,000 to 600,000 pay-per-view buys, then we got a conversation about him being the face of boxing. But then again, and what I'm talking about is if he can do it without having the right dancing partner. Because Canelo could fight anybody, and he's going to sell pay-per-view. Floyd Mayweather could have fought anybody at a point. Then, he's going to sell pay-per-view. That's why they were the face of boxing. Can Tank Davis do that? That has yet to be seen. Now, I'm rooting for him, but what I do think is going to happen, because Tank Davis has to go to get sentenced, I think next month, Tank Davis is going to jail. Now, I'm not highlighting that and saying that I'm happy he's going to jail. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm telling you is he's going to the joint, right? Now, when he comes out of jail, I think his profile, I think everything is just going to blow up. And it could kind of be like the reemergence of Mike Tyson, how like when Tyson came out of prison. Now, I don't think Tank's going for the amount of time that Mike Tyson went, but I think that's definitely going to help his profile, and that's going to help Tank with as far as his pay-per-view sales. Alexa says, if Haney beats Loma, I predict Tank and Haney might just be next, hopefully. Well, I tell you what, right? Let me show you something. We talked about this yesterday. Let me show you realistically what you're looking at when it comes to Tank Davis, right? Let me pull this up. Can you guys see this? So you got, Devin Haney's the big dog, but you just talked about Devin and Loma. I think Devin beats Loma. But let's look right here. This is what we gotta concern ourselves with. You see all the way to the far right, you have the WBA column. You see you got Devin Haney and you have Tank, right? Now Devin Haney is the super world lightweight champion. He picks and chooses who he fights. But Gervonta Tank Davis is the WBA world lightweight champion. Now, I can definitely see where these sanctioning bodies, what I like to call it a secret society, they try to make Tank and Haney, but Haney doesn't have to do it. But let's look underneath Tank. Number one, the number one rank for the WBA was Ryan Garcia. He just got beat. Look at who's the number two ranked. Frank Martin. Now, I personally think Frank Martin may become the mandatory, or he should, to Tank Davis, because Tank Davis still has a WBA World Lightweight Championship. But if Frank Martin becomes a mandatory, then it's Frank Martin and Tank Davis. Now, Tank Davis' team said they want Pitbull Cruz, who's ranked number 6 under the WBA. All right? So realistically, when we look at this whole mix-up, I think you got Gervonta Davis and Frank Martin either fighting Frank Martin next or fighting Isaac Pitbull Cruz. Now, when it comes to Devin Haney, I'm going to tell you right now, Devin Haney beats Lomachenko, I'm going to show you what Devin Haney's going to do. You see right here, if Teofimo let me close this a little bit so you can see it. If Teofimo Lopez, who's ranked number 10 by the ring, if he beats Josh Taylor, which I think Teofimo Lopez is going to lose, right? Then Devin Haney, I can see him going up to 140 and fighting Teo, and I see him beating Teo at 140. That's what I see happening. But when it comes to Devin Haney and Devin Haney fighting Gervonta Davis, I don't see that fight happening because Tank Davis wants to have the catch weight. You know what I'm saying? That Tank Davis is the A side, so he wants to dictate everything. And Devin Haney's just not trying to hear that. He's not trying to hear that at all. So that's honestly how I see it, man, to be quite honest with you. Hold on, let me pull something up right here. I am missing something. Let me see if I can find it real quick. Here we go. How long Tank going to jail? I don't know yet, but I would think when it comes to Tank Davis and that jail time, I would think they're going to get Tank for a couple months at least. You know what I'm saying? I'm just being honest with you. I don't know, but I do believe they want to put him in jail because he was trying to get some unsupervised house arrest. They shot that down. Even as one of the victims, she just didn't want any money from him. She really wanted to make an example out of jail, out of Tank, and have him go to jail. And the thing is, the judge, at the same time agreed, and the judge agreed that there should be a stiffer penalty for Tank Davis than Tank Davis having unsupervised house arrest. So we'll find out, and hopefully it's nothing too crazy. But hey, you can't be out there hitting people, man, and riding in your car drunk, hitting people, and the victim's car smoking, and they're asking you to help them, and you look at them and run off, and then to find out the one victim in particular who didn't want any money from him or nothing, she was pregnant, and the judge wasn't trying to hear that. The judge is female too, so Tank Davis has an uphill battle on his hands. You know what I'm saying? But we gotta wait and see what the judge decides. But it's not looking good for Tank Davis at all, man. It's just not looking good for him. Victor says Ryan and Rolly. Oh yeah, that's the other fight. Ryan Garcia could fight Rolly Romero, because Rolly Romero's about to go up there and fight this guy Barroso for the WBA at 140. He's gonna pick up that title, so you could see Ryan Garcia go after Rolly Romero or Teofimo. But I don't see Ryan Garcia beating. I put it to you this way: Ryan Garcia is not beating Matias. Ryan Garcia is not beating Regis Prograis. He's not beating those guys, man. You know what I'm saying? No way in the world he beats those guys. But Ryan Garcia, if he picks the right opponent, he can pick up a title. But those guys at 140, man, they have some killers at 140. You know, Zepeda, Ryan Garcia, man, he needs. Somebody said last night he should fight a Pedraza, and I agree. He should fight a Pedraza, man. He should fight some of those guys that Tank Davis fought, that Tank Davis was able to get out of there. And if Ryan can get through him, that speaks volumes for him, man. But he just needs to work on his discipline, and I think he needs a better trainer. I think he needs to be with Manny Robles. In my opinion, Manny Robles is a great trainer. He doesn't get as much shine as he needs. He took Andy Ruiz to the mountaintop, helped him become unified. But he's worked with Charles Martin. Charles Martin has looked better. But Manny Robles, in my opinion, will be a great fit for Ryan Garcia. But the problem is what Canelo said, what Eddie Reynoso said, and even what Joe Goosen kind of says. You know, he just doesn't have a discipline, man. And he's a vocal kid, and there's nothing wrong with that. But sometimes, you know, you got to shut up and listen, man. You got to listen. Demo Gaiman says, I don't see Ryan beating any of those top fighters after Tank. Just show without his left hook, he's nothing. Yeah, without Ryan's left hook, he's a sitting duck. And that's why I'm saying Ryan Garcia needs to leave Joe Goosen, and he needs to get with someone like Manny Robles. But the thing is, Ryan Garcia doesn't want to listen, man. He doesn't have the discipline. You know, the left hand can only get you so far. And now he's hit a ceiling. He's plateaued. But, hey, discipline. Tank even talked about it. Tank said the difference in the fight for him and Ryan Garcia is experience level and also discipline. He said Ryan Garcia was just getting anxious, and he recognized that. And as soon as the fight started, you knew that the fight wasn't going to last long when Ryan was chasing him around the ring. Even all the professional boxers who they interviewed, they all immediately noticed that. But of course, they have a different lens than just the casual boxing fan. Those pro fighters were watching that saying that they knew as soon as they saw Ryan chasing Tank Davis around the ring that the fight was going to end. And that's crazy, man. But at least Garcia did give Tank Davis his props. He said Davis was good. And he says somebody with a little more activity and discipline can give him problems. You know, and that's a good assessment from Ryan Garcia. But they're going to keep saying the same thing. And I think it's just the fight. Anyone fights Tank Davis, it's kind of like Mayweather. Mayweather has patience, has an IQ, and they set traps. They set traps, and these guys just they don't know how to avoid those pitfalls. So no matter what Ryan Garcia says, the one thing he said that I agree with is he says you have to be careful with Gervonta Davis. He says you had to play it smart. He said, I didn't play it smart. I ended up getting knocked out. And even Rolly Romero goes on record and he says the same thing. You know what I'm saying? He says the same thing. You got to watch out for Tank Davis. He's fast and he's strong. Alex Luna says, some coach at my gym told me that Ryan, 2-year fighting better competition, and he'll be ready to face Tank again. I don't agree in my personal opinion. Yeah, I think Ryan Garcia he definitely needs to work on the fundamentals, man. And I say that to be as encouraging as possible for him, because there's something there. He's at a point to where he's got to fight elite fighters. Now, people talk about Tank's resume and about who he fought. He fought nobodies. To this day, people say Tank Davis has a thin resume. Okay, if his resume is thin, then what's Ryan Garcia's? You know what I'm saying? If Tank Davis has a thin resume, then what's Ryan Garcia's resume? So Ryan Garcia has never been in with an elite opponent. He's never been in a championship fight. He's never fought on the biggest stage. You understand? He was the social media champion. And there's nothing wrong with that. But he wanted to challenge himself. And when you got a guy who wants to challenge himself and get outside of his comfort zone, they deserve to be lauded for that. It's not easy to want to get... I've sparred, and I'm going to tell you, right? I've had amateur fights. Never really bothered me that much, but I fought in a smoker one time. And that smoker was crazy. Now, it was like 5 of us. We were all boxers. We were all training. And there was an opportunity to fight in a smoker. And they had all kind of people coming in there. You didn't know their backgrounds, who boxed, who didn't box. And that was very uncomfortable. I'm telling you right now, I almost didn't get in that damn ring. When I was walking to the ring, I was thinking about turning around. But anyway, I got in the ring. The guy rushed me and shoved me, and I stumbled back. And the crowd booed him for shoving me. But when he shoved me, that woke me up. I tell you that much. And I didn't even hear anybody outside the ring. It was if you've never been in a boxing match, it's kind of crazy that you're in the ring, you have all these people out there in the crowd, and it gets quiet. I didn't hear anything. It was just me and that guy. I knocked him out. But after I knocked him out, then I could hear the crowd screaming. Then I could hear the referee. It's crazy. So for Ryan Garcia, I'm sure there was a little bit of discomfort there, a little intimidation there. But he even said getting into the ring, his legs didn't feel that good. But he said once he started fighting, he felt better. But I just think all in all, Ryan Garcia wanted to challenge himself. And I think the next time out, he'll have a better outing, not against a guy like Tank Davis. But he's kind of been there, done that. He knows what to expect. And we won't see him having as much disappointment because he shouldn't get too impatient like he did in this fight with Tank. And those flaws that the whole world is talking about, this gives him time to work on those flaws and improve his game plan, because his game plan was questionable. He's the bigger fighter, probably stronger physically. I'm not saying he hits harder, probably stronger physically. And he should have been the more effective counterpuncher with the speed that he has. But when it comes to a guy like Tank Davis, Garcia, just like we talked about, he chose for some reason to just be the aggressor and just let his hands go and wasn't defensively responsible. And when you miss against a guy like Tank Davis and you get out of position, you know, you're exposed. And Tank Davis has great anticipation. He sees what's going on, and he's going to exploit your vulnerabilities. And that's what he did. So we'll see what Ryan Garcia does going up to 140, telling all the guys at 140, I'm coming for you. I don't think anybody's shaking in the boots, if you ask me. But if Ryan Garcia is going to want to compete with bigger, stronger fighters, listen, he and Joe Goosen, especially if he stays with Joe Goosen, they got to clean up some of those mistakes. Because I'm telling you right now, Davis is a complete fighter. Everybody says that. You look at when he fought Garcia, right? He landed 48% of his power punches. That's crazy. And Ryan Garcia was limited to like 24% in overall connects. And Calvin Ford, who's Gervonta Davis trainer, man, Calvin Ford. He and his partner put together a brilliant game plan, and Davis executed it flawlessly, man. So, is Davis the face of boxing? I don't know about that, but I think he's gotten a step closer to becoming the face of boxing. I just don't think he's there yet. Luna says, you saw Benavidez hugging Jamal Charlo before the fight? Yeah, I saw that, man. David Benavidez, I got a different opinion on Benavidez now. You know, when David Benavidez was getting ready to fight Caleb Plant, and I saw the video of his dad being, to me, out of place, talking about Caleb Plant's daughter passed and how Caleb Plant's not a good father and he wasn't there for the child, that left a sour taste in my mouth for the father, the brother Jose Benavidez, and for David Benavidez. I thought they were all, I said they deserved to be the a-holes of the year, because I just thought they had no place even talking about Caleb Plant's situation with the baby's mother and the baby, you know. But looking at David Benavidez, I think David Benavidez is a good dude. So him hugging Jamal Charlo, I think there's a lot of respect there. And I think David Benavidez it's kind of like when we saw, what's his name, Deontay Wilder hug Tyson Fury in Saudi Arabia. I think it's just the event, the moment, catching somebody at the right time, being in a good space, and they come together and give a little embrace, you know what I'm saying? But for David Benavidez, he's got his hands full right now, because this guy, let me pull it up. This guy, what's his name? David Morrell. Let me tell you something. David Morrell is no joke, man. And David Morrell is now calling out. What's his name? David Benavidez, and they're gonna have to figure out what they're gonna do, because Morrell's not ranked number 5 by the ring. Benavidez is ranked number 1. Benavidez wants to fight Canelo. Canelo's not trying to hear that. So now Benavidez has to find a tune-up fight. But you look here, David Morrell has a WBA, he's a super middleweight champion. Canelo's not fighting Morrell or Benavidez. Canelo's about to fight Ryder, and then he's going to go on and look to fight Bivol. So Benavidez needs a fight, and Morrell needs a fight. And Benavidez and Morrell both, they want to keep moving up the ladder. They don't want to reverse. But when you look at it, they want to test themselves. And I think that it was even, I don't know if it was mandated or what, but I think it was being mandated. I read an article, but don't quote me on that. I got to go and do my due diligence and pull that up. But David Benavidez and Morrell could very well be what's next. But outside of that, you got Demetrius Andrade, who's a possibility for Morrell, for Benavidez. Diego Pacheco is floating around, but he's not a big name. Edgar Berlanga is not messing with any of those killers, because he doesn't want to mess up his opportunity to get a shot at Alvarez at some point. But when you look at it, David Morrell and Benavidez, if they want to keep moving up the ladder, to me, those guys need to fight each other. You know what I'm saying? They need to fight each other if they want to keep moving up the ladder. But outside of that, I tell you what, man, they got a lot of good fights that could be made, and I think we're going to see it now. But let me ask you a question. Tank Davis, the new face of boxing. Do you think a guy like Tank Davis really has a chance? Does Shakir Stevenson have a chance? Some people talk about Devin Haney. Devin Haney being the new face of boxing. You know, do you guys really think they have the kind of profiles that to really go on and become the face of boxing? I personally think, although Ryan Garcia lost, if Ryan Garcia comes back and Ryan Garcia gets a good win and he knocks somebody out, Ryan Garcia has more potential to go on to become the face of boxing even after losing to Tank Davis, before Tank Davis will become the face of boxing. And it is what it is. Now, I'm not saying that that's what I'm rooting for. That's because of how it is, man. You know what I'm saying? Only guy that has a chance to beat Tank is Shakur. Yeah, Shakur can fight, man. But let me tell you, hey, Luna, so how do you think Shakir Stevenson beats a guy like Tank Davis? Like, that's my question. We know Shakir Stevenson can fight, but how does a guy like Shakir Stevenson, silver medalist, right? Bad boy, super talented. How does a guy like Shakir beat a guy like Tank? People say he'll outbox him, but Tank can box too. I think Devin Haney, I think they both lose to Tank in my opinion. But I think Devin Haney may have a better chance than Shakir Stevenson. And the reason I say that is because Devin Haney is really good with distance. Devin Haney is really good with controlling the center of the ring, and he works behind that jab. Devin Haney is like Ike Corte. He's okay with winning the fight on the jab alone. You know what I'm saying? Like, Devin Haney's not worried about trying to do anything extra. He takes it, matter of fact, he takes it minute by minute. He's like, okay, 3 minutes down, 1 round down. That's how he sees it. And I think that gives him a better chance. I just think at some point, what do you do when Tank touches you? You know what I'm saying? When Tank hits somebody, it's just like with Terrence Crawford goes southpaw. The damn fight changes. When Tank Davis hits you, yeah, absolutely. When Tank Davis hits somebody, the fight changes. I don't care if it's Devin Haney, if it's Shakur Stevenson, definitely not Keyshawn Davis. You know what I'm saying? What's up, Latham? Devin, unanimous decision. I think Tank beats them all. But I know Latham that you think Devin wins a unanimous decision. I think Devin has the best chance out of all of them because it's not even his jab game. Devin's clinch game is so tight that Tank Davis is gonna probably foul Devin Haney. Tank Davis, I bet you will foul Devin Haney, and Tank Davis will get a point taken from him. I'm willing to bet if Tank and Devin fought, that Tank would foul Devin Haney, because Devin Haney's gonna clinch him to death, and he ain't gonna like it at all. Luna says it's hard to say because Tank is like Wilder, just more skilled, patient, and southpaw. Yeah, it's hard to go against Tank Davis, man. You know what I'm saying? At some point, he catches up to fighters, and when he hits them, they react funny. What's going on? Hey, I'm sorry, but he's not the face of boxing. Not yet. Thank you for the donation, Guanados, man. That's what we were saying. You know, he's on the way, but he's not that guy yet. You know what I'm saying? He's just not there. And he says Tank has a stop button. Absolutely. And remember, we're just having a conversation, man. But that's the truth. Guys like Devin Haney, and I'm gonna be honest, I think the biggest fight for Tank is Devin Haney. I truly believe that's the biggest fight for Tank Davis is Devin Haney, because of the history between the two as well, man. Devin clinched way too much. Yeah, he's ridiculous with the clinching, man. Yeah, they were like keeping track. It was like the first time I've seen they had like CompuBox were tracking the punches. They were tracking Devin Haney's clinches because that's his whole thing. You know, jab, right hand, clinch, bump you with the shoulder, counter you off the bump, roll out. You know what I'm saying? Maybe clinch you again. But yeah, I just think at some point that fight's gonna get super ugly between Devin and Tank. Tank's gonna foul him, but I think Tank will catch up with him because this is the other thing that I think people are forgetting. Don't get me wrong, we're not downplaying, and I agree with you saying, Latham. Let's just see them guys get in the ring. But we're talking about Devin and Tank. Tank Davis is okay with taking some shots in order to get his shots off. You know, Devin Haney, he may have a little pop, right? But he can't, for the most part, he can't crack an egg. If he can't discourage Tank Davis, this is my question. If he can't discourage Tank Davis, well, you guys tell me, how do you keep Tank Davis off of you? He cuts the ring off great. Tank Davis slips punches great. His feet are faster than his hands. That's one of the greatest assets of Tank Davis are those super fast feet. So all I'm asking is, a guy like Devin Haney, how do you keep Tank Davis off of you if you can't hurt him and you can't discourage him? That's all I'm saying. Top Dog says Tank gonna have to dirty box and punch out of that clinching. Absolutely. A Top Dog, he's gonna have to do what Ryan Garcia did in that first round and part of that second round when him and Tank fought. Did you guys notice how Ryan Garcia was punching out of those clinches? And Ryan Garcia was throwing elbows and forearms and everything. He made sure that if Tank was going to try to clinch him, he knew he was going to get banged up real good. He banged Tank up so much that Tank was talking to the referee for help. And Tank got buzzed a couple of times early in that fight. But it's because you got to have that mentality to punch out the clinches. And I'm telling you right now, Tank Davis is even more mean than Ryan Garcia. He's way more mean than what's his name, Devin Haney. Tank Davis is way more mean and vicious than Shakir Stevenson. He's way more mean and vicious than Frank Martin. You know, we can sit here, man. People want to talk about when it comes to these fighters. Tank Davis is way more mean than Lomachenko. He's now Pitbull Cruz. Now, you know, Pitbull Cruz is kind of mean. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know who's more vicious because Pitbull Cruz is a goddamn monster. But Kambosos Jr., he's meaner than Kambosos. He's meaner than Zepeda. So when things get going, I'm telling you right now, Tank's not gonna care if you lose your balance or if your hand get tied up in the rope. He's still gonna hit you and try to hurt you. He don't care. He's like, make the referee do his job. Tank's okay with getting a warning, a strong warning. Tank's even okay with losing a damn point. He don't care. As long as he can do enough damage to you to where after they take the point, he can dust you off. He doesn't care. Tank's got that Baltimore in him. He's Hollywood, you know what I'm saying? And he wants to get the victory. Latham says, Devin not going to be in one spot always, a moving target. He understands distance and control and does a great job of taking away strong points. I agree with you 100%, man. I agree. And the thing is, I like Frank. He's a dark horse. Yeah, Frank Martin is a problem. That's why if they make and Alex Luna, man, thank you so much for the donation. I appreciate it. He says, how do you see Haney versus Loma playing out? Seems like Bob Arum may just want to rob Haney. Okay, hey, I'm glad you asked that question. Yeah, Devin Haney, I think he needs to knock Lomachenko out in order to get a draw. I'm just being honest with you, man. Devin Haney needs to knock Lomachenko out in order to get a draw. Haney must KO Loma to get a draw. I'm going to go ahead and type that and send that out there. And that's truly how I feel. That's horrible that Bob Arum, man, it really pisses me off. Bob Arum comes out, he does an interview, and he says the smart people should bet on Lomachenko to defeat Devin Haney. Man, if that doesn't send mixed messages to you, doesn't that seem a little corrupt? Like what? Imagine how that make Devin Haney feel. This guy who you've been working with, and we know Devin Haney, he got screwed. Tank ain't no face of boxing, get real. Yeah, that's what, hey, Jerry E., that's what we've been saying. That we don't think Tank's the face of boxing. He's still got some work to do, Jerry. That's the exact same thing we're saying here. Tank's he's on the way, but he's got some work to do, man. He got to keep knocking people out, keep breaking the records in these live gates, but he's got to get those over the next 2 to 3 fights, get those pay-per-view buys way up and be able to do that consistently. Then we have a talking point for him being the face of boxing. But no, most of us agree with you. Latham says 10-2 to get a split decision. Absolutely, Latham. We know boxing corrupt, Wild Wild West, no doubt. But that's crazy. And we know the thing is, Devin Haney's been getting screwed since he's come over to the top rank. You know how much money Bob Arum took from that man? And I'm not saying he says, I'm going to give you $1 million, he's taking $500,000. No. What I'm talking about, Devin Haney should have been getting paid a lot more than what he got paid. And after this fight right here, when he beats Loma, because I think he beats Loma. I do think it's a competitive fight, But I'm rooting for Devin Haney. I am. I got my issues with Devin Haney and his dad and how they out here, his dad cussing and carrying on. Then the next second they want to talk about religion. Then 2 seconds later they want to cuss and carry on. I don't care for that. But I don't, just because they have these personality qualities I don't like, I don't think you should do them wrong like that. And for Bob Arum to come out here and say that everyone should bet on Lomachenko, that's crazy to me. That's crazy. So we know they want Lomachenko to win. Bob Arum, let me tell y'all something. There are pictures floating out there where Bob Arum is kissing Lomachenko on the cheek. How in the world does a guy like Devin Haney, right? How do you expect a guy like Bob Arum to support Devin Haney when Devin Haney is fighting a guy who Bob Arum also promotes, but Bob Arum is kissing this man on the cheek, hugging this man? You guys tell me, right? When have you seen Bob Arum hug? I don't talk race on my channel. I don't talk politics. I don't talk religion, economics. I don't get into that. You know what I'm saying? But I'm going to just ask this question because it's something that I paid attention to. When have you seen Bob Arum hug a black fighter? Now, I'm not saying he's a racist. I don't talk those things on my channel. But what I'm saying is he's hugging Lomachenko, kissing Lomachenko, hugging up Tyson Fury. What the hell is he doing? Yeah, that's like the son he always wanted. He got a Ukrainian son out here. That's crazy. But I tell you what, with Devin Haney, I hope he wins the fight. And it's nothing against Lomachenko. Nothing against Lomachenko. I like Lomachenko. He's an amazing fighter. It's unfortunate what this man has going on back home in Ukraine. I respect the fact that this man went to fight for his country. I have nothing bad to say about Lomachenko. I even think Anthony Joshua was wrong to try to fight Lomachenko because Lomachenko said that Anthony Joshua was a strong fighter. And Anthony Joshua took offense to it, and he felt like Lomachenko was just saying because he's African, he's strong, and not African fighters are strong. And he felt Lomachenko should have complimented his skill set. So I think Anthony Joshua had a bowl of dumbass for breakfast and took it to the stupid when he attacked Lomachenko, was about to fight Lomachenko after Usyk beat AJ in the second fight. Latham says, I've always said there are multiple faces, the guys that are always talked about or brought up no matter what. Yeah, absolutely, man. That's crazy. Top Dog says, he's not the face, but he rising. He's next in line for the new generation. She's going to have to beat Devin and he's going to have to beat Devin and a lot of other top guys. Yeah, Tank has some work to do. Top Dog says, Loma, the son Bob Arum always wanted. It's true, man. Luna says, Bob Arum in an interview said Loma was better than Leonard and Ali. Yeah. Bob Arum, I don't have any damn words for that one, man. That's what you call, that's beyond taking it to the stupid, you know what I'm saying? That's just madness. But then again, we got to pay attention. You know Bob Arum is corrupt, man. I'm not saying that to be funny. How the hell Bob Arum been around boxing for almost 50 years? You know what I'm saying? You got to be a little corrupt to be around boxing for almost 50 years. And then he got the Kinahan connection. Let's not forget about all that. You know what I mean? Bob Arum corrupt as hell. Any promoter that'll pay a damn mob boss, a promoter that's been in boxing almost 50 years, a couple $1 million a fight to advise you on boxing, man, get out of here with that. You know what I'm saying? Bob Arum paying somebody to be an advisor to him on boxing? Y'all, come on, man. Get out of here. That's like you guys and whatever your career is or whatever you know really, really well and been doing a long time. You're going to pay somebody to come out and advise you on how to do it? Man, you can't. And you're paying a mob boss, someone who's known for fixing fights? Get out of here with that. That's crazy. Luna's laughing. Top Dog says they do have crazy connections. It's weird. Yeah, I don't know what it is either. But something's going on. Bob is sus. Yeah, he's suspect. He's suspect as hell, man. Jerry E. Bob gave Crawford a lot of love. Paid him more than any other welterweight. Yeah, Crawford got paid good money. And I'm going to tell y'all something. When people when Bob Arum says he lost a lot of money on Crawford, let me break that down to y'all, right? Understand this. When Bob Arum says he lost money on Crawford, this is how I see it. Let's say Bob with a Terrence Crawford fight. Let's say they projected to make, let's say, a $10 million profit, right? Let's say that's just what's a projection. Crawford against this opponent, we expect to make $10 million in profit from that fight. But let's say they only make $3 million in profit. There's a $7 million difference between what was actually made and what was projected. But they still made a profit of $3 million. But when Bob comes to in front of the camera, he now says, look, I just lost $7 million on Terrence Crawford. I'm hemorrhaging money. But really, he didn't lose a damn thing. He made $3 million. He just didn't make the 10 that he wanted. So now he's telling people he's losing millions or he lost $7 million because that was a projection. That's what Bob Arum does. See, that's where you got to be able to peel the layers back. You know what I'm saying? He was saying that, and I went and worked some numbers and did some research, and plus just me being a common sense man, I said he's playing with the numbers, he's playing with the wording. You know what I'm saying? Then he's going out here saying he could have had houses in Calabasas and all that. I don't believe nothing Bob Arum says. Simple. I think Bob Arum, one thing I will say, I think Bob Arum and his team, they figured out that, you know what, we lost Mayweather, we just lost Crawford, right? We didn't know how to market, and these are Bob Arum's words now, so don't get mad at me. This is what Bob Arum said. He said we didn't understand the urban audience. Basically talking about Hollywood, you know what I'm saying? He didn't know what he had in Mayweather, and he didn't really know what he had in a guy like Terrence Crawford. But now you got Shakir Stevenson over there. You got Jarrett Big Baby Anderson, the real Big Baby Anderson, and Keyshawn Davis. And I notice he puts all of them on the same fighting card. And that has helped with their views. That's helped with their live gate. And I think Bob Arum and his team have finally figured out, you know what? This is the way forward. We're trying to market to the urban audience. Not for me and my team to get out here and talk. Let those guys get up there and talk. If they're going to insult each other, some guys using the N-word, the slang that the guys are talking with, let them do that. See, Bob Arum doesn't understand that. And I don't think his staff really understands that. But I've noticed that he's letting those young guys talk now. Remember before, Crawford would sit up on stage and he really wouldn't say nothing. But if you watch now, Bob Arum and his team are letting those young guys talk. And that, I think, has helped with Top Rank as far as being able to hold on to a Shakir Stevenson, a Keyshawn Davis, and a Jarrett Anderson, and to help them with the views and help with their live gates, and in turn, help with be able to pay those guys, good money. Right here, Bob. Top Dog says, we need the odds on Loma so we can bet Devin and get paid. Hell yeah, I need to look that up. Because I would probably I ain't gonna lie, I'd put some money on Devin. But I just think they're gonna try to screw him, man. I think they're gonna try to screw him. Demo Gaming says, I don't think there's not one person right now who's the face of boxing. Jerry E says, Canelo to this day is the face of boxing. As long as Canelo's around, he's the face of boxing. You know what I'm saying? And let me show y'all something while we're talking about it, because this face of boxing thing is a let's go all the way down here, right? Let me show y'all something, and let's just be real. Okay, the minimum weight, right? Let me make this a little smaller. We're just gonna look at something here. You guys tell me, who the hell cares about the 105-pound division, right? We're just being real, right? I'm not trying to be disrespectful to anyone. I'm just being as real as I can. Anybody out here watching the 105-pound division? Does anybody care? Now let's go on up. Anybody care about what's going on at 108 pounds? You know what I'm saying? Does anybody really give a damn about Kenshiro Taraji? Okay, I'm not saying they're not good fighters at these weights. What I'm telling you is no one cares. So there's no face of boxing coming out of the 105 or 108 pound division. Now let's go up here, right? The flyweights, 112 pound division. There is no face of boxing coming out of this division at all. Now you got Jesse Bam Rodriguez. He's on his way to something special, but he's not on his way to being the face of boxing. Matter of fact, he just got his jaw broken, so he ain't trying to show his face anyway. Then you get up to 115 pounds. Hey, this division was bubbling when Chocolito was out here doing his thing, right? But at the end of the day, when you look at these guys who are ranked top 10 by the ring, nobody is going to be the face of boxing. Because for the most part, they got a couple of interesting fights here. They got some guys who can handle their business, but nobody really cares about the 115 pound division. But there's some fights that we sure do watch, like Rung Vasai and those guys. Those guys can scrap. I'm not saying they don't have good fighters, but face of boxing, not gonna happen. The bantamweights, 118 pounds. Look, you got Russell in there, you got Donaire in there. People know who Rodriguez is. You know, they got some good fighters in here, man. But nobody's gonna become the face of boxing. Now, there'll be some well-known names and guys that can make some good money, especially Donaire. He's still out here floating like a butterfly, stinging like a bee, and doing his thing. But at the end of the day, nobody from the damn 118 pound division is even remotely close to becoming the face of boxing. Now, when you get here, see, it starts to get a little more interesting when you start talking about Inoue, start talking about Fulton, you start talking about Akhmadaliev and Neary. You know, they got some good fighters here. But Inoue just depends. He's definitely the face of Japanese boxing, but the face of boxing, he could be, depending on what he does with Fulton, he could make some noise. Now we get up here, we start talking about the 126 pound division. You know, you got Magsayo, who's good, Ramirez is good, Vargas is good, but let's just be honest, when we look at these names, nobody doing anything to get them close to being the face of boxing, right? And you get up here, and now we're talking about the 130 pound division. Foster, I think, is a super talented fighter. Shakir Foster was ranked in the number 3 position. But then again, you know, there's nobody going to be the face of boxing. Colbert looked like he was on his way to making some noise, but then he lost to Garcia, and he just lost to what's his name, man? He won the fight, but they robbed him. Valenzuela, they robbed him. But nobody here at super featherweight is on their way to be the face of no damn boxing. 135, and this is where we're at. Out of everyone here, you know, you got Devin Haney. Maybe he can do it. Davis, he's on the way. Ryan Garcia, even after a loss, he's still on his way. And everybody else, Lomachenko, he can't be the face of boxing, man. I just think his time has passed. But at one point, he was right on the cusp of becoming the face of boxing. But there's more to just being a great fighter. Pay-per-view sales, live gates, etc. You know, all those things come into play. And I think, you know, some things you do outside the ring too, community service and stuff like that. You know, being a role model. There's a lot of things that come into play. But as far as 135 pound division, the only real name here is Tank Davis. And that's because they're trying to build him into that. At 140, we still got some good fighters, but there's nobody here going on to become the face of boxing. 147, Terrence Crawford could be that guy. But Terrence Crawford doesn't even want to really step out of his comfort zone and market himself and promote himself. Crawford just wants to be quiet and let his fist do the talking. But outside of that, Earl Spence, I don't know, man. These guys could be, but they still got some work to do. But outside of those two, there's really no one there. Face of boxing. I think those Charlo twins could be the face of boxing, man, but they haven't been managed properly. You know, I don't know who their agent is. You got 2 twins. They both can fight. They're both champions. One's undisputed. Why aren't these guys on cereal boxes, Why aren't these guys doing interviews? Why aren't these two guys gazillionaires? I can't understand how the Charlo brothers aren't gazillionaires. But you get up past 154, you look at 160, all right? Who's the face of boxing here at 160? Golovkin, his time is over, man. Munguia, never. Adam Smith, Devin, there's no one here. No one, 160 is a dead weight class. It's some good guys, but no one there is on their way. Benavidez, you know what? Maybe he can get there, but you got Canelo Alvarez. As long as Canelo Alvarez is still hanging around, he's going to be the face of boxing. But I tell you what, if Benavidez was to fight Canelo and beat him, that may be the fight that he needs to put him. I still don't think he becomes the face of boxing, but that may be the fight he needs to really help his profile. But I just, when you look at it, I'm just not really sure, man. Canelo Alvarez is the man, You get up here to 175. I mean, they got great fighters, but nobody going on becoming. The cruiserweight, it doesn't even make sense to look at no damn cruiserweight. Then here at the heavyweights, the face of boxing, Anthony Joshua, he still has what it takes. Tyson Fury, he's got what it takes. Wilder, I think, can still be there. But really, it's between Gervonta Davis and these heavyweights. You know what I'm saying? That's really what we're looking at, in my opinion. That's really what we're looking at. So it is what it is, man. It is what it is. Let me see some of these comments, man. Canelo is the face of boxing. Let's talk about the lower weights one day. Yeah, we need to, man. We need to get into that one day. Latham says Lara the best at 126. Yeah, Lara's no joke. Lara's no joke, man. Top Dog, is Canelo the face of boxing if Wilder and Tyson Fury is fighting? Nope. Nah, man. I think Wilder and Tyson Fury. But you know what? I don't understand why people haven't really got behind Deontay Wilder over here in the States. Do you look at Deontay Wilder, how he's knocking people out, the reason why he got into boxing? You guys tell me, why in the world haven't people got behind Deontay Wilder? He should easily be the face of boxing. Boxing's all about who can inflict the most damage onto their opponent. Knock him out and make him quit, right? Deontay Wilder does that. Doesn't matter what happened in those Tyson Fury fights. He took a pound of flesh out of Tyson Fury, just like Tyson Fury took a pound of flesh out of Deontay Wilder. But y'all tell me, man, why haven't people got behind Deontay Wilder? It just blows my mind that, he hasn't got the support that I think he deserves. Top Dog, Luna says, something tells me we're going to see Fury versus Wilder 4. I think so, too. You look at how this is shaping up. It's supposed to be Wilder against AJ, Fury against Usyk. Who's going to win those fights? I think Wilder will tranquilize AJ. With Tyson Fury and Usyk, I think Tyson Fury is just too big. I don't think it's going to be easy for him. I think Fury fighting Usyk is a harder fight than Wilder fighting AJ. And then at the end of the day, Wilder and Fury go on to fight a fourth time. Luna says they're already setting up. Yeah, they're setting it up. They are setting it up, man. Jerry E says Wilder been knocked out twice. Tyson's not bigger than Canelo. I don't think he's bigger than Canelo, but I think Tyson Fury. Now we're talking globally, okay? So globally, Canelo is the man. Tyson Fury acknowledges that. Every boxer acknowledges that Canelo is the man, okay? So no doubt. But guys like Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder, they could, man, But then again, the Mexican fans, and it's not just Mexican fans, but Mexican fans are diehard boxing fans, just like in the UK. But it's all about the pay-per-view numbers, man. And if Tyson Fury by himself can consistently sell 500 to 1 million in pay-per-view buys, if Deontay Wilder can consistently do it, then they'll easily have an argument for, supplanting Canelo as the face of boxing. Top Dog says, face of boxing has a lot to do with ticket sales. Yep, if Wilder and Fury fight on the same day, but nobody going to care that much about Canelo. Yep, no doubt about that, man. And to me, it's the ticket sales. I agree with you. The pay-per-view sales, how you winning your fights, And I think, some of that humanitarian stuff and being what you're doing outside the ring, it's a whole person concept that's involved, in my opinion. And really, Canelo's really that guy. But I'm not saying it can't shift to somebody else. But they got to be consistent. J.O., welcome to the chat. He said Jamel hasn't fought since July 2021, and Jamel hasn't fought since May of 2022. Not active enough. Now, I agree. I think everybody agrees with you on that, man. Both of them have had issues in their personal lives, and that's rough stuff when you're going through stuff with your spouse and kids are involved. Then you got, Jamel getting injured, man. That's not good, but they're both going to be returning this year, so that's a good thing. And some people don't agree that Jamal's been allowed to keep his title, but hey, Suleiman, he's aware of what he's going on, and he's supporting him and working with him. And I guess that's a good thing. But when we know Jamal is actually calling out Demetrius Andre now. So maybe we'll finally see Jamal Charlo and Demetrius Andre, because really, they have nowhere else to go. So they might as well fight each other. Especially Andre. He needs to fight because, man, that's just a sad case. Demetrius Andre is a sad case, man. All that talent and so little activity as a professional fighter. Top Dog says, the average consumer going to watch heavyweights over Canelo. I think it depends on who's fighting. You put Kanaki and Areola in the ring together, and then Canelo fighting, and nobody watching Kanaki and Areola. But if you put the right two against each other, I know me, man. I have my damn screen split. When there's boxing on, I have all three screens going on my TV, man, and watching all three fights at the same time. But if it's a good, like two big-time heavyweights, yeah, I think so. I don't disagree with that, Top Dog, but it depends on the fighters, no doubt. Jerry E. says, does Wilder or Tyson sell more than Canelo by themselves? Nah, I think we all agree that Canelo doesn't need the right dancing partner. Canelo just needs his last name. Wilder needs the right dancing partner. Tyson Fury, I think he needs the right dancing partner. But you look at Wilder when he fought Helenius. I honestly thought with Deontay Wilder coming back to the ring after that third fight against Tyson Fury, he showed the world that he's willing to go out on his shield. He showed the world that he could hurt Tyson Fury. He showed the world that fight could have gone either way, but Tyson Fury had the better stamina. And Tyson Fury just was overall proved in that third fight without bringing all the other crap into it about cheating and all that shit, right? But just showed that Tyson Fury was a better fighter. But I figured people would have come and supported Deontay Wilder, and I thought he would have done at least like 400,000 in pay-per-view buys because he knocks everybody out. Shit, Deontay Wilder comes out, fights Helenius, and does 77,000 pay-per-view buys. That is madness, man. You tell me how's that acceptable? Hey, can y'all please make sure y'all hit that like button? I'd appreciate it. You know what I'm saying, man? Yeah, that's all I'm saying. Y'all tell me how is that acceptable for something like that to happen? You know what I mean? Make sure y'all hitting that like button. That is absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy, that they won't even take care of Deontay Wilder. But you look at where he's at now. He's looking to go over there to Saudi Arabia, and them guys looking to make like $100 million a piece. My understanding is supposed to be a $1 billion pot of money, where everyone for their fight gets like $100 million, and then the whoever ends up fighting in the final bout, whoever wins, they get like $200 million a piece. Something ridiculous, man. But it is what it is. Top Dog says it depends on demographics. Ain't a fight that Canelo can put on that will make me watch it unless it's Benavidez. Yeah, it depends on what's going on. Like, I'll watch a Canelo fight, depending on who he's fighting, but I like Canelo, man. But if they have another fight on, it depends on who's fighting. I'm going to watch the better fight. I always do that, man. If I'm watching if there's two fights on, I'm always going to watch the what I feel is going to be the better fight. I always do. Top Dog says Canelo does have a country behind him. I can't lie. Yeah, he got the whole Mexico behind him, man, and they support him hands down. And the thing I think we're talking about Benavidez, if he beats Canelo, I don't think he gets Mexico behind him like that because he's he's born in America. His dad's Mexican, but his mom's from Ecuador. And it's always a little different when you have somebody who is born in the country and is, 100%, of that ethnicity. When you start slicing and dicing the ethnicities, man, sometimes it can become tough for a fighter to get that support from whatever ethnicity that they want that support from. But it's just like with Edgar Berlanga. Hey, Edgar Berlanga has Puerto Rico behind him. And that little island will spend their money and support their fighter too. That's a boxing fan. That's a boxing crazy country just like Mexico. So you'll see Berlanga do great numbers on pay-per-view as well. And some people will say, well, damn, he's not that great of a fighter. You know what I'm saying? Well, it doesn't matter. They're going to support him no matter what. It's just like all those UK fans flying over to the United States. They support their fighters. Luna says, you think Wilder knocking out everyone, he'd be the face of boxing, especially with his personality. Yeah, you would think so. But then it makes me wonder if these guys even have, what's in their contracts? Does it say something specifically in their contracts with Al Heyman and other promoters that they can't go on and do talk shows, or they can't accept sponsorship deals or endorsement deals? You know what I mean? It makes me wonder what's limiting those guys, because you would think that they'd be able to go out there and make make more money outside of boxing. Look at Anthony Joshua. He's with Lucozade. He's with Under Armour, Beats by Dre. He's got some other sponsorship deals, endorsement deals. So Anthony Joshua's making money, hand over fist, outside of boxing. Why can't the other fighters do it? Luna says, I'm Mexican. It's kind of traditional to watch Canelo in my house. Of course, man. I live out here in Texas. And in my neighborhood, I got a buddy across the road and one who lives 2 houses down. We always talk boxing. And, of course, they're Mexican. And we're always out there talking shit, man. And I always, when Floyd was getting ready to fight Canelo, or when, what's his name was getting ready to fight, when Ryan Garcia was about to fight Fortuna, I always mess with him, you know what I'm saying? And say, I bet you rooting for, whoever the other fighter is. And, of course, they're not, and we laugh and joke. But that's just a cultural thing, man, and that's just how it is. There's nothing wrong with that. That's a cultural thing. You know what I'm saying? But that being said, man, we talked for quite some time, man. Is there anything else y'all want to talk about while we're all here? While we're all here on the chat? If not, I'm going to jump off, man. But we can talk about anything. I got 10 minutes for anything y'all want to talk about, man. And for anyone who gave a donation, I appreciate it. It means a lot to me, man, for people to give little donations and contributions to the channel. But we can talk about anything while I got y'all on here. Just throw it out there. Type it in the comments, man, and let's talk about it. I'm about to go exercise in 10 minutes, so I got time. I got time to talk about whatever y'all want to talk about. We talked about Gervonta Davis, Ryan Garcia. We talked about that whole 135-pound division. But go ahead and throw it in the comments if there's something else y'all want to talk about. And we can keep the party going. And if it's a good conversation, I'll stay on here longer than 10 minutes. I'm cool with that. If not, I'm going to jump off. All right. We got 12 people watching now. Let me know if you got anything else y'all want to talk about, man. It could be anything. While y'all are typing, I'm going to tell you, I was surprised to see Floyd Mayweather in the ring. I thought him and Tank Davis, I thought their relationship was over, man. You hear about Floyd Mayweather kicking Tank Davis out the ring, out of his gym. I was surprised to see him in the ring this weekend, but kind of is what it is. All right. Y'all have anything else you want to talk about? If not, man, I'm going to get ready to end this, man. I'm not seeing any more comments coming through. All right, with that being said, man, I appreciate y'all joining the chat, hanging out with me this morning. I'll be back on tomorrow to talk more boxing. Y'all keep cool. Appreciate the support as always.